There we go. Morning, afternoon, evening. I hope you are safe. I hope you're keeping each other safe. That's what's the most important. Let me move this stuff around. I'm just going straight from my phone today rather than using special equipment because I wanted to be quick this morning and just give my impressions on the DNC last night and a couple other things. Then later on today, I'm going to articulate it a little bit more at length and a little bit more organized. So let's just talk about real quick the DNC last night. In general, it was a lot of what I expected. A lot of, for those of you who didn't catch it, there's a lot of hooray America, what you expect. So none of that is off or off-putting. What was off-putting, though, and I'm going to get into this later on today, so today I'm just going to scratch the surface. What was off-putting was sort of the way that everything was framed. So a couple of points I want to make about that. The first one, everything was framed as if Joe Biden is the absolute only choice and the best choice, which, okay, it feels strange to have watched that and listened to that after the campaigning and everything else was effectively ended or forever a while ago due to the pandemic. We didn't get a whole lot of conversation about the pandemic, which felt really weird. We got a lot of conversation about how dope Joe was. And I want to talk about this, and I'll get into it a little bit later. We got most of that stuff, most of that information from women. Most. Go back and watch. The day one was basically women for Joe Biden without them saying women for Joe Biden. I think it's strange, and not strange, but I think it kind of suspicious that you would have all these women speaking for you. You would talk about racism and have a whole panel of black people sitting there while you smile and nod like it's the first time you ever heard about racism, like it's the first time you've ever been put in a position to deal with or address racism, while at the same time you lean on your bona fides as a Washington insider, as somebody who has plenty of experience. Y'all, the last point I want to make, and this is one I'm definitely going to dig all the way into, is while I was watching the DNCC last night and commenting on it all the way through, some of the commentary was just silly whatnots because it's a long, boring kind of thing. But some of them were a little bit more serious. And I got asked multiple times if I'm pro-Trump. You should be surprised too, because nothing I said, I just want to be really clear here so I don't have to say that I'm not pro-Trump because that's stupid racist bullshit. If you think I'm pro-Trump, you haven't been listening. Not to mention, if you think I'm pro-Trump, you're fucking confused. You just are. That I would even have to articulate that is some racist bullshit. Trump is more than an arch racist. I have been talking and speaking against Trump conspicuously and consecutively for months. I don't know how anyone, and I've had several people ask me, somehow get from all of this that I'm pro-Trump or pro anything Trump has done. Black people didn't vote for Trump, largely. So we can't, on the one hand, demand the black vote knowing that they didn't vote for Trump, largely, but then also make it like some kind of emergency where we get to command the vote of black people, while at the same time saying the exact same bullshit every president, Obama included, about how we're going to make America better for black people. We're not. We're not. If you don't have a plan and all you have is words, I don't want to hear shit. Everybody's had a plan. That's the problem. Like, everyone's had a plan to tackle racism. Everyone. This time, I'm not about that future shit. That's the difference. I'm not about that wait until tomorrow shit. And there's a whole lot of white people who are on this, let's just get Joe Biden in office and then we'll talk. Oh, no. See, here's the thing, and I'll get into detail about this a little bit later on. We've had 4 years of Trump. 4 years. Y'all could have been rallying us for all that time. Isn't it funny now that all of a sudden, it's like, well, we only have two people and we got to pick one? Let's slow that tape all the way down. For 4 years, and indeed for hundreds of years, black people have not been free. Let's just stop right there. Yep, not full freedom. Same for women. Same for gay people. Same for trans people. The Democratic Party got up yesterday as if they already had all of those votes, and Joe Biden was smiling in front of a whole bunch of panels of black people and smiling and nodding like it's the first time he ever heard of racial inequality, rather than doing the responsible thing, the adult thing, and saying, I had a chance on multiple occasions in multiple positions for decades to make an impact, to change, if not end racism, if not constantly condemn it. And instead, I'm out here telling people, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And then all of my supporters are going after black people, claiming that somehow they're pro-Trump because we're not out here like falling all over ourselves to vote for Biden and to get everybody else to do it. Y'all, this emergency of Trump is a white problem. It's a white problem created by white people. Let's just be honest about that. What do I mean it's a white problem? Cool. Y'all can check the voting records. We didn't vote his ass in. We didn't. Oh, so largely white people elected a chaotic racist to be in the White House. And y'all had let's stay in that for a second. Y'all had every single reason. And weren't y'all, I remember this shit, weren't y'all explaining? Y'all were explaining somebody's for a long ass time. And now here we are on the other side of the 4 years that we already called is going to be a disaster and bullshit. And now white people are losing their minds. And all of a sudden they think because they're scared, they can just tell black people what to do. They can tell black people, or at least try to have an argument or form an argument about how Trump is so dangerous, not realizing that they're talking to the people that Trump has been fucking the whole time. Y'all, I know Trump is dangerous. Y'all, I know Trump is shit. Hey, here's another thing. All black people do. We've known that since before he got in office. We were saying that before he got in office. So y'all coming to me now with this, are you pro-Trump shit? Yo, fuck yourself. I'm not even going to answer that. Fuck yourself. My record speaks for itself. And the fact that you're coming at me now, anybody asking me if I'm pro-Trump means that you didn't do the work at all of looking at my record. You didn't do the work at all of even following me. And those of you, some of these people claim to have been following me for months and are asking me if I'm pro-Trump. Yo, fuck yourself. You can look at there's plenty of evidence out there. And I'm mad about it because it's the same shit over and over again. We play this game with black people all the time. If niggas aren't behaving in the way that we want, we all of a sudden try and take their behavior and criminalize it or make it not us. Y'all, I literally just talked about Biden's history. And I was snarky about it, of course, because we're supposed to be. And I was all other kinds of shit because, of course, you're supposed to be. And man, white people don't like Joe Biden being talked about in anything but positive terms. I learned that last night. So he's going to catch more fire. On the positive side, Michelle Obama, while suspect, let's say it, Michelle Obama, while suspect, just like every rich person is, showed up and absolutely devastated the landscape with a speech. She centered it around what Joe should have centered the whole first day around, empathy. And I think Joe could have shown a little humility by just admitting that he didn't do his job fully as VP or every other position that he's held where he's let racism persist. And it isn't Joe Biden alone's thing to solve. Racism is myriad. It takes a bunch of people. But what are Joe Biden's anti-racism bona fides? That's an important question. Nobody said anything, but he can do it. That didn't point to his history of anti-racism. Nothing. Isn't that strange? I think it's strange. And isn't it strange there was so many women? And nobody talked about Joe's very, very public and very, very creepy history with women and how he treats women and young girls. Nope, that never came up. We just had a whole bunch of women saying, I've known Joe forever and pro-Joe, including Michelle Obama. What's the problem with that? Oh, nothing. There's no problem with being pro-Joe Biden. But I think there is a problem when we watch this man who we know has a problem with women. Let's just say that gently, has a problem with women. utilize women for political gain. We know this man who has a problem with black people utilize black people for political gain. And this is not like a euphemism. We sat there watching Joe Biden with a panel, like a whole room full, well, technically screens of black people, and he's asking them about, like, how are you doing? How are you holding up? What do you mean? What do you mean, Joe? Like, on the same hand that he's trying to talk about how in the know he is and how capable and everything else, he's got to sit down on public television with 5 black people and ask them about racism? I know it's not his time to speak, but y'all, somebody could have come out a little more forcefully on the racism tip. Somebody could have come out a little bit more forcefully on Joe Biden's specious history with women. Y'all, that shit's on tape. I know that y'all are mad that me and other people aren't out here doing this dance of just pro-Biden everything. And I know that some people even believe that we just have 2 choices, and really, you can complain all you want, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you're going to have to pick one. It does matter. I'm going to say it again. That shit matters. My vote is earned. I'm going to say that just like a million times I feel between now and November. My vote is earned. Every other vote, if y'all are out here just completely terrified of Trump, and you want to run to the ballot box and just do a fear vote, knock yourself out. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm trying to tell you that's not my vote. I'm trying to tell you my citizenship, my political, it's worth way more than just not Trump. It's worth way more consideration than just, oh, he'll destroy our democracy. Y'all, he's already on the way. And not to mention, he didn't start this. Yep. We have this childish fantasy about Trump now that we've had him for 4 years, that he's the only one that's ever doing any destruction. And we don't think back about every other president. So let me remind you right quick, every president has been faced with the problem of racism in America. Literally everyone. Literally everyone passed. I think it's a fair question to ask, what makes Joe different? We've had over 40-something presidents that were faced with the problem of racism in America. Not one of them were bold enough to face it head on. It was all half measures and partial this, and let's make sure that we keep white people happy at the same time. The safety of black people has been a negotiating chip for hundreds of years that we've never actually gone through. We've never gotten the benefit of it. It's always later. It's always incremental, right? The same thing with women. You see how Joe Biden was so quick to have all these women up there talking. And let's be real, all of these women were amazing. I enjoyed watching them, especially Gretchen. Like, she came through with some spice. Like, that Stepford Wives spice was just, ma'am, you're amazing. But we didn't talk about Joe's history with women. We didn't confront that directly. So I'm anticipating we're not going to talk about Joe's history with racism, Joe's history with homophobia, Joe's history with... We're not going to talk about any of that. We're just going to be expected to show up like loyal dogs and do exactly what white people need to do to get themselves relaxed. I'll say now before I go, because like I said, I'm going to do a little more thoughtful version of this later on today where I fill in stuff rather than just be mad. But yeah, I don't have to vote for anyone. I don't. And let's be clear, even with Biden, my life is not going to get better. Black people's lives aren't going to get better. I don't hear any particular plans. I just hear a whole lot of cheering. And I know it's day one. Y'all, I'm not stupid. Please don't jump in here and remind me. It's day one. And yet, the first day showing is rather telling. Well, yeah, he takes all of the people that he has allowed to come to harm or harmed and categorically spreads them out over the first day and finds all the pro-Biden representatives in those groups of people that he's harmed or allowed to come to harm and put them on camera. That was day one. Part of that was him sitting in a room with these people and smiling and nodding and talking about their Trump. Y'all, that's some racist bullshit. Biden cannot, I'm going to say this again, cannot claim to have all of this insider experience and at the same time act like racism is a brand new thing. You had 8 years with Obama. You ain't do shit about racism. Like, a black dude was your boss and you weren't concerned about his safety enough to do some shit, some real shit. Let's be honest. Y'all are all about healthcare. And y'all try to make it into a black issue, which is not necessarily not a black issue, but there's a whole bunch of other issues. Like, I had to sit there, just for example, contemporarily, and watch the DNC, knowing that I couldn't just put in my earbuds and go down to the river and listen to it, because my white neighbor told me I can't go. My white housemate can go, but I can't go. My entire town, or at least a good chunk of people in my town, all my neighbors know about this asshole and know about this racist bullshit and know about easement law. Nobody's doing anything but saying, oh, that's so terrible. And it feels the same way with Trump. It feels the same way. It's like, well, white people just want us to do the thing that makes them the most comfortable, instead of us thoughtfully and considerately contemplating our political future and then thinking about who's the best representative to put in there, who's the one that's going to, like, actually do the best job. Some of you feel like this assessment has already been done. Some of you are talking like that. We only have two choices. I got a surprise for y'all. That's that false binary. I'm not playing that game. I'm not. And if it scares you, it probably means you don't believe in Joe. Let's talk about that. If Joe Biden is everything that everybody said he was last night, then all of my research and all of my criticism is going to lead me to that same conclusion. Right? I'm not out here trying to hate Joe. But if not, then what is it going to do? Well, it's not going to lead to me trying to disrupt Joe like all of y'all are losing your fucking minds. It's going to lead to constructive criticism, which I've been leveraging in conversations we need to have to hold these motherfuckers accountable. And y'all are sitting here saying, oh, don't hold him accountable yet. Let's let him get in office. No. No. It is our duty as citizens not only to hold Biden and Trump accountable, but every single other person into which we've invested political will and dollars, let's be honest, and time and everything else. These people who are shaping our community without our permission largely, these people who are making determinations about our children's education, our health, all this kinds of stuff. And we sit there going, oh, we only have limited choices. I'm going to let y'all know right now, the more you tell me that it's the most important election of the ever, the more I'm just going to be critical in research. I am. And by the way, you should be too. All of y'all. We already know these people who are at the DNC are like pro-Biden anyway. So it's like watching a pro-Biden. We don't need to go in there and get answers from these people. We don't. And I'm not saying these people disparagingly. They've already made their decision. Those of us who know that we have limited decisions, but still want to make an informed decision, aren't waiting like y'all think, or pro-Trump like, I don't know where the fuck that came from. But we're thinking people. If you are already set to vote for Biden, you know what? You can just ignore me for the next couple months. Because I'm going to tear him and everybody else that comes through to pieces. Not for the sake of destroying them, but for the sake of rendering them to their constituent parts so we can see exactly what the fuck they're made of, so we can know exactly who the fuck we're voting for. And I know that there isn't a particular way that we can get to know every single thing about a person before voting for him. But if you have a problem with women before you end up in the Oval Office, maybe we should look into it. If you have a problem with black people before you get into the Oval Office, maybe we should look into it. Didn't we learn that lesson with Trump? Didn't y'all? Or have we not? We got a motherfucker in there right now that y'all didn't examine carefully, and he's freaking out and destroying everything, and everybody's losing their minds. And at the same time, y'all are like, oh, let's get this other dude in there, but don't look at him too close. Y'all, I'm telling y'all now, history repeats itself. This is the same shit. It's just another white dude. And every single time we have a presidential election, we hear the same stuff from white folk. 1, this is the most important election ever. 2, if you don't vote for our dude, America's going to die. Hasn't that been the case since 2000? Name a black community that's doing better since 2000. Name any non-white community that's doing better since 2000. There are not many. And yet we supposedly have 20 years of the most important elections of our entire lives, and black folk haven't felt shit. I'm sorry that for y'all, this represents a brand new existential crisis, But for black folk, it's been every single president ever not giving a fuck about us, our freedom, our lives, our death, our bodies, our families, our children, our communities, our churches, our schools. Nothing. Nothing. Matter of fact, they've been bombing us there. They've been killing us there. We have white supremacists show up to the church and murder motherfuckers, and y'all still talking about, Biden is the only choice. If you feel some type of way, just know that this is a reckoning. And I'm not it. We are. I'm not about to prepare myself to go forward into a future where we continue to tolerate homophobia. Nah. I'm not going forward into a future where my fucking racist neighbor could stay racist. Everybody in my town could find out about his racist behavior, and nobody does shit but talk about how bad they feel about it. And then they're going to turn around and tell me to vote for Biden. Y'all, in a town where almost everybody voted for Trump, where the majority voted for Trump, now all of a sudden, Biden is the only choice. And all of a sudden, I just fucking moved here, and they're already commanding my vote. They're already questioning me, but not even questioning me like to find out what my political anything is. They're questioning me to find out if I'm an obedient nigga. You're not pro-Trump, are you? Are you fucking serious? Are we walking up to women and asking them, are they pro-rape? Are we doing that? We're not. Okay, cool. I'm not pro-Trump. But I am pro-being informed. I am. I'm not just going to shove Joe in there and then afterwards have the same white people that had me run into the ballot box as fast as possible because Trump is coming with murder. These same people are going to be totally fine with all of Joe's little foibles and fuck-ups that end up absolutely fucking up people like me, and they're going to be telling me to calm down and be quiet because at least it's not Trump. Watch that not happen for 4 years. Watch that shit. It's going to be nothing but shut up, give him some time. Kondo, give him some time. We need more time. He can't get it all done in a day. While not recognizing that, like at least black civil rights, like the action for black civil rights has been hundreds of years in progress, and we haven't yet achieved it. We haven't. The struggle for women to get free in America, hundreds of years. The struggle for queer people, gay people, trans people, hundreds. And y'all are sitting there like we got to install another old white dude to counter the current old white dude. Oh, but this white dude comes with a black woman. So, you know, it's different. I'll speak on this more later. Today, I plan on giving a more detailed analysis of, a cogent detailed analysis of the DNC rather than just feelings. But I woke up this morning and I was feeling upset about just not only just watching the DNC, but like the response from my circle. Y'all seem already bought, and I that's not me. That's not me. I'm taking this as the emergency that everybody says it is, but I'm behaving accordingly. So I'm not just like, oh, emergency, and then losing my mind. Nope, it's an emergency, so we should be hella considerate. So that's what I'm doing. I will talk to y'all later. I'm going to spend the morning taking care of my foot, which it's all purple and horrible. So even though you can see me walking around, I'm walking on my platforms like I'm wearing high heels. Tonight is more DNC action, so be prepared for whatever else. If you need to mute me tonight, go ahead and do it. I'm going to try and do it from my professional page rather than my personal page because some people got out of pocket. But I'll say I appreciate Joe Biden's record. All of it. So, like, not just, oh, Joe Biden did all these dope things, but like, yo, there's some suspicious shit happening here. We should talk about it. We should examine it. And if it's something that we have to get over, we need to be aware of it to get over it, don't we? We don't need to, we're not going to just ignore it. I want to know exactly what the fuck it is so that the next time, or Trump brings it up, I will have a way to counter it, or I will have a way to discuss it, or I will have a way to agree or disagree, or whatever it is that I need to do. Rather than just sitting here and going, Biden, 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 Biden. Like, it's the dumbest shit ever. No. Find out why you're voting for who you're voting for. I'm doing that work. In the meantime, I will talk to y'all later on today. Later.